And because nobody knows everything, but everybody knows something. Enjoy.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm really happy you found your way here. It was a really nice evening yesterday, and I expected nobody to show up. It just shows how committed and dedicated the tech society is, so thank you for joining me this morning. Being the first one, like an astronaut, in some places, always a difficult job, so I hope I open this in a nice way. I want to talk today about empowering people. I love to empower myself. I love to do whatever I can to empower my children, my family, my parents, my grandparents. And I think that today, in a global connected world, empowering everyone around us, like our cities and our communities, is also a very important job that everybody has to take a piece of. And an event like this, like the Data Lift Summit, is extremely empowering. So it's like 3 days, you feel great and you meet all those people and you hear those inspiring presentations. I believe being empowered at an event is not a difficult thing. I believe the real challenge is to feel empowered like this every day. And I hope I have a few impulses on how you can be thinking about this so you wake up every day and are the mentor of your life. About myself, I am the founder of a startup. We've been on the market for 3 years. We develop a coworker mentoring platform that transforms everyone in a company into a mentor so that people can share their skills and learn from each other. I also initiated a conference myself. It's called Big and Growing, like empowering people, because I realized that technology not always is the biggest problem. Sometimes how we think about things is the biggest problem, and I really wanted to create an open space for people to talk about the future of work, and everybody, like in Fridays for Future, for the climate, everybody understands that for work, for the future of work, everyone needs to take a stake. And I have founded a few companies, I have 2 kids, as I mentioned, but I really have one mission with everything I do. It is to change the way we work. And here is it, how I started on this mission. So, when I was six, my mother came back home and brought a computer. It was 1988, so soon after the dinosaurs disappeared. There was no internet, and computers were really big boxes with stuff plugged into the TV. So she brought this computer and she called me to sit with her. She looked me in the eyes and she said, "Tina, there are 2 types of people. There are builders and there are consumers." And she looked me in the eyes once again and she said, "Which type do you want to belong to?" And you can imagine the impact of this question on myself. I was 6. I have never had a single thought about purpose, but this is the impact of a leader. This is the impact of a great parent. In this very moment, I knew I don't want to be a consumer. I want to be a builder. And puzzled as I was, I just decided, okay, I'm going to build. And I started building. So I used this computer. And first, there was not much you could do with this. So I was typing games for DOS from the magazines to play. And then I developed a few small games myself. And then computers were evolving continuously. So at high school, the computer already had a graphical interface. You could drag and drop things with the mouse. So I built a newspaper layout with a CorelDRAW. It's like a really old system for graphic design. Then I went to university. I studied in Munich, and I built my first company, the first fitness app in Germany, maybe in Europe. And the more I was building, the better I became in this. So computers also got better. And the more time I spent in the startup, into the entrepreneurship, into the tech ecosystem, the more I was surrounded with people like me who were building too. And it was not until the financial crisis when I realized something. So everybody around me was about getting really efficient building stuff, and technology was getting really efficient. And then one day it struck me, wow, we are all running after efficiency, but sometimes we totally forget the effect of the things that we're doing. It was all about, going there faster, making it for your kids, getting recognition, getting that safety, and I don't know, the house, whatever it is that people want, travel, and the effect of the things that we were focusing on was never a topic. And it was this efficiency that was starting to create a problem. And during the financial crisis in 2008, we all saw how it can turn out. And then I realized that the efficiency of technology changes its effect. It's like something really profoundly changed my life. So I will give you an example with parenting. If you become too much of an efficient parent, you're probably not doing the best job. It's also the same with friends. You don't want to have the most efficient friendship. You want to have the best friendships possible. And with technology, the example was from the stock exchange. So before there were software, there was a person in the stock exchange, an investment broker, who was reading business plans, literally studying the numbers, as algorithms do, but also studying the purpose of the company, what impact they play in their communities, what are their policies for employment, how do they take care of the environment. And it was the effect was kind of also considered. But then automated trading systems arrived, algorithms took over, and in split-second opportunities that are not available for people, they made transactions completely disregarding the purpose and the effect of those. And we now know that sometimes those not only did not add value to businesses, but actually very often drained out almost the entire value of the company. So this was my first encounter with purpose and empowerment, and I thought about this and I started reading, and I know it's nothing new for you. Technology has always been driving progress in society. You all being here, you are builders. We are all creating the future. There is nothing that can surpass the efficiency of technology. It's not about do we want to have it or not. It's about what we do with it. And it has always been the case. It has been the case in the first technological revolution, where we invented the steam engine. We released our hands so that machines could do the job, or not horses. We had the second technological revolution, where we invented electricity, and suddenly we could even produce much more, actually more than we needed. And then with the invention of the computers and the internet, we were able to produce automatically. This means all the time. And you shouldn't be always thinking about very complicated, algorithms or software products. An automatic productivity is just your LinkedIn profile. It's like you're here now, you're listening to these presentations, and your LinkedIn profile or any other place you are presenting your views online is there speaking for you. So that's like the productivity that we gained. The problem was that with technology becoming more efficient and with the invention of exponential technologies like blockchain, like artificial intelligence, we were not producing automatically, but we were on the verge. We actually have surpassed this already. We are there. Welcome. We now have exponential productivity. And I'm relieved that after the pandemic, I don't have to explain exponential so much, and I know you are a tech-savvy publicum, but I want to still visualize what exponential means. And the best way to explain the bright side and the dark side of exponential productivity is with a really old story about a Chinese king. And the mathematicians from you probably have heard this story, but for the rest of you, it goes like this. So there was a very bored king, and he asked his wise guys to develop some entertainment for him. And there was a really the wisest of all, developed the game of chess. And the king loved it so much that he said, oh, I want to grant you any wish, anything you wish in return. And the wise guy wouldn't have been a wise guy if he just asked for gold. He, of course, decided to teach the king a lesson. And he said, no, okay, I want just grain, like wheat grains. China is the largest manufacturer of wheat, by the way. So I just want wheat grains, but I want them in a specific order. I want one piece of wheat on the first square of the chessboard, 2 on the second, 4 on the third, 8 on the fourth, and so on and so forth, always doubling the previous field. And you know, this is the definition of exponential, of the exponential function. And on a very small chessboard with only 64 squares, it quickly sums up to 18.5 quintillion wheat grains. Finally, Wikipedia was useful to check out how this number is to be read. And this is so much wheat that China would not be able to produce it in 6,000 years. And you can calculate if I am right, but I believe it's more than all the sandcorns on all the beaches on this beautiful planet we live on. So it's like really crazy much, very fast. This is the productivity that we have now. So knowing that we kind of are so efficient and so productive, I was sitting there wondering if in the future efficiency is a given, what are we all doing here? Why is everybody only running faster? And just why is nobody taking care of the effect of things? We will run out of time and resources until we, find out that something is wrong with this approach. And this is where I realized that another thing, the digital transformation, so what is happening with our society and businesses through the ever more expanding use of technology, adoption of technology, is not just the transformation of how we do business, of more efficiency, it's of who we have to be in the workplace. It's really a transformation, not just where we can work from and, that everybody can bring their own device and can have as much vacation as they want and be flexible. It's more than this. It is thinking about the effect of what we do individually, as a team, and as a company, and as a business, and as a country, and as a world. So it's really a profound transformation of the workplace. So this is my why I think we have to change the way we work. And especially, when all of us building our dreams, we have so many tools, much more than ever before, and a lot of them are more accessible. We have some of the largest tech companies opened their code for developers. We have a myriad of SaaS tools that can help you build a company from scratch, and just making another product, another business just doesn't make sense any longer, especially not facing global challenges like the climate crisis, but not only. We have a rising digital divide, we have a huge skills gap, we have increasing migration rates for 10 years in a row now, forced migration due to climate conditions and civil wars, etc. So the world has never been more incomplete, and we have never had more tools to fix it. So we have like this tremendous efficiency in all of those problems. And I was like, why aren't we matching both, but just focusing on getting better in whatever? And I can tell you why. It's just very much more easier to get more efficient. You can actually, you can learn how to write code, you can learn how to optimize an algorithm, how to do QA or whatever. You can actually teach a machine to do it for you, so you spend more time at the beach, but you cannot teach a machine to do the right thing, like to be on purpose. This is the role that we people have to play in the future of work, and this is what I understand under empowerment. And there is another profound reason why we should change the way we work. And I will tell it to you because you're tech savvy. When we talk about the climate crisis, very passionate about this topic. So when we talk about the climate crisis and when we talk about green technology and sustainable economy, what is the first image that comes to your head? For most people, this is like something like this. Solar cells, some sort of machine that does water from plastic, something like this, like technology know-how things. But we have had the technology for the solar energy for 150 years now. 150 years. And we have known about the greenhouse effect for 2 decades, like 200 years. You studied it in first grade in school, but we actually have known about this like forever. And there is a huge, very well-funded, very prestigious organization out there, the World Economic Forum. I'm not showing this picture because of the 5 men on it, but this is another topic. But there is this organization for 30 years now. They celebrated their 30th anniversary last year, and the World Economic Forum has been founded with exactly this purpose, to raise awareness about the impact of technology in business on environment and society. Like, what does industrialized business, or now fourth industrialized business, do to its surroundings? And when I am reading about this, I'm getting really angry because this is quite a lot of time. It's like 30 years, 200 years, 150 years. The problem is not that we don't know and that we don't want. The problem is that the way we work is hindering change. So it just, if you ask yourself, where are all the wrong decisions, to slow decisions, to little collaboration, unethical action taking place, it's all in the workplace. We need better organizations to tackle this at least. So for me, the transformation of work is the key driver to a sustainable economy. Yes, we should build solar cells, and yes, you should be taking care of your energy impact in the algorithms that you do and everything that you do. But unless we change how we organize as a group of people in a company and in a society, there won't be any chance to tackle this, because we are more powerful together than we are individually. So you can do as much as you want in your team, in your company, in your product, in your policies, but unless we organize as a whole differently, there won't be much to do. So this is how I think the workplace should change. We have to empower every single individual to be big and growing, like to be more than his job. So you thought you joined this company to make an internship, to learn something, to learn to code. Maybe you can even understand yourselves as much more than this. Yes, you're learning, but you're having an impact on the world. And yes, you're doing an internship, and this will help your career. But if you become a future leader, you will be able to support the right direction of our society and economy. So thinking bigger about what you do, even if it is a small, tiny piece in a company, in a team, I think will be crucial for us to change the way we work. It requires different organizations and different leadership too, but it begins with yourself. And actually, you've heard about the butterfly effect. Sometimes even the swing of a butterfly wing is enough to cause a storm. And this effect you can see in the workplace too. We are so connected. You cannot change how you view your job and not have an effect on your entire team and your entire organization. So it's time to really be empowered to be more than just our jobs, just our ambitions, just our career, just our salary, our vacation. It's not about each and every one of us any longer. It's about us as a whole. And here is where I realized that my mother's theory had its quirks. It actually doesn't true anymore, because this builder or consumer, it's not valid any longer. In a global connected world, everyone is a builder, because with every purchase online, with every post, with every like, with everything that you do, when we are all connected, you are creating today, tomorrow, and so on and so forth. You cannot just say any longer, I'm really not so interested into this. You should be. You are having an impact. Everybody who wants to have an impact, one hand, okay? Two, who wants to have an impact? Every time I ask at conferences who wants to have an impact, everybody wants to have an impact. Well, this is the good news. You are having an impact. It's time to take responsibility of it. Not just be efficient, but also effective. And this is what I am doing about this. So I really believe that in taking this transition from just doing a job to like really owning the impact that you're having with this on everything, will take a lot of support from others. Like mentoring is a great example, you know, how you can shift a person's perspective from how can I do this stuff and what is my to-do list and how do I make this career to, okay, how do I make the biggest, best impact that I can do in a company? And what does it actually mean when we do this policy? So I think mentoring is a great way not just to connect people to others and to tell them what to do, but actually to connect them to the values and the purpose of an organization. And I think we have to expand this because empowering should not be about, okay, those two people will do it and those two people will do it. It should be like, how can we connect the entire organization so that everybody can benefit from each other? Because we have different challenges. Even as a very expert in an organization, you have different challenges to tackle. Products today are interdisciplinary. You cannot just say, I will only talk to the AI people or to marketing only talks to marketing. No, everybody has to talk to everybody else when the time is necessary, when it's right. So I think this is the main difference, like breaking this, okay, those are the couples that will help each other, to how can we all help each other, towards a really fostering diversity and collaboration so that everybody can find the right person at the right time when they need to. And the problem is that if you say, okay, let's work like this, it's great, everybody will help each other, it's a complete chaos, right? So now, it's just a huge liquid structure. People come and go and then change their roles and expertise and interests. So how can you handle it centrally? You can't. You need a decentralized system to support it. And then how can we overcome this little problem with us people, that we just feel most comfortable with others like us? How can we actually overcome these barriers and make people talk to each other even if they don't like the same sports, or they don't come from the same country, or they don't have the same weight or height or gender or whatever, so they can help each other? And how can we, help everybody develop the way they need, because the world is changing constantly. And the pandemic everybody was so surprised. I was so puzzled, because it was just a small demo. It was a preview of the future of work. Things will be changing in a volatile way. Someday, everything will be different, like it was 2 years ago. It will be very ambivalent. It will be a complex situation. And you have heard about the VUCA acronym, so that's what it is about. And to empower people, we have to do twofold. So we have to find a way to, empower the individuals in the organizations, but also connect them to each other. So foster belonging and community, so that it's not I am empowered and I am the biggest influencer of the world and I just don't talk to those interns or whoever. It's about really feeling empowered, not feeling afraid, to speak up your mind. And I believe that in order to achieve this dual value proposition, and it's by design, makes sense, because we all, after we reach a certain level of personal development, we actually have the need to give back. So it's kind of on the top of the Maslow pyramid of personal needs. You have the need for self-actualization. So in the development vocabulary, I would say, as soon as you become the senior architect, the only thing that really can make you happy is not making another architecture for another great product, but teaching somebody about the magic of technology and how he could do this. And as soon as as a mentor, you see how somebody has benefited from your knowledge, how you have opened a door to a world, to somebody else, there is nothing that can give you more well-being and employee experience at work than this. So to do this, I believe we have to start thinking about the human workplace. For me, currently, the workplace is not very human. It's a process workplace. It just was built for, industry and machines, and we keep them together. We give this to the algorithms now, and we just have to empower people. And how do we do it? I believe we have to rethink how we think about communities. Communities today are based on opinions, on likes, on status, on followers. Just a very, very small share of people contributing to them. Most of us feel excluded on social media, for example. So we have to rethink what is community. Community is not who will be the most important person the soonest with the biggest salary. Community is how we, together with our skills, can contribute to learning from each other, inventing something new, bigger, that we couldn't have invented on our own. This is all it is about. And then we should invent how people are welcomed into such communities, because in every community, every person at some point of time is new. And we should rethink how we think about talent development, because we are not robots. And those 2 years, maybe we're really focused on, I don't know, data science, but in the next 2 years, we want to really learn to code. We had a conversation and inspiration, so it should be possible to switch. And then we should rethink how we organize work, not to be just efficient, but effective as well. Because the purpose of organizations has never been to check to-dos and boxes. It is to connect people so they can learn from each other, grow, and build great things. This is why I believe that community is where the future work. Community is full of really empowered people, and that's my mission, and this is what I love talking about. So please, get in touch. Let's discuss your ideas too. And I have also written a book on this topic. It is actually a book that tech people really love because it has a lot of things about software. I have 2 copies today, so I would be very happy to give them away to those of you who really find the topic interesting and would like to get it going. Thank you very much.
Anyone?
Where is the coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I joined a bit late, and I was actually thinking, oh, the first presenter is actually a bit unlucky because people are not going to be ready probably at 9 o'clock. But I feel lucky because I could see at least 5 minutes of your presentation. I want to thank you for your energy and passion about this topic. And I want to hear about the onboarding part. I saw it on the image. What do you think about best onboarding experiences?
I think that onboarding any person in a new community, and you see, I just use community and organization interchangingly, right? Because for me, it's all about we are doing something together. We have a common purpose. So I think that onboarding is really important because when we are new, because of how we are as people, we feel uncomfortable. Some of us even, feel more anxiety. Today, all of us, or the majority of us, just sit at home and we are alone. And the way we are currently onboarding people into organizations with emails and checklists and videos is not human enough for me. And I think this is not empowering for them. I had an experience with a friend of mine who used to work for a very big company, and during his onboarding, he had to watch 600 hours of video material. And this made him feel like from the big person they hired into a really small piece of, dependence and non-purpose in this organization. And I think on empowering onboarding, I believe we have to do some administrative things, but I think the most empowering onboarding is just having a person grab you by the hand when you go to the party, show you around, and then after a few moments you can go on your own, and you already feel. I think this is enough. So this is why I believe in human moderated onboarding on top of all this efficiency with all those lists and tools that we have. There should always be a person like a buddy or a mentor or whatever that says, hi, and let me introduce you. Thank you very much.
I think we have time for one last question.
Yeah, so I totally agree that watching 600 hours of video material is wrong for onboarding, but isn't onboarding totally individual? So for some people it's totally fine to have a checklist with step 1, step 2, step 3, and for others it's better to have this mentoring program. So we should, yes, think about the individual person.
Absolutely. I think you're totally right. It's individual, and this is why a process alone cannot be the answer. I think this is where human moderated onboarding comes into place, because it will be just adjusted to the needs of the person. But having this one person saying hi, I think is essential, because no matter what preferences do you have, work today is very complex, and it's not just about reading stuff, but it's about all this, like connecting to each other and growing together. And there should be, I also think that a really good mentor is also like role model for the values of the company. So he's like a culture ambassador. And I think when you're joining an organization and there is nobody to show you what we care about here, then things happen like they do now in the workplace. There are just many people and they don't care about each other. But in order to transform a workforce into a community, we have to share those values and these beliefs. So this is why I believe, yes, it has to be adjusted on the preferences of the person. This is why the process can be 100%, the process can be like 50% or 10% or 90%, depending on the organization and the purpose of the company. But there has to be this element of, okay, I'll be here for you, and you just tell me what you need, and I'll be there to give you guidance with whatever.
Thank you very much, Tina.
Thank you.
Inspiring talk. And yeah.
Is it okay if I give the books to the 2 people that ask questions? Maybe it will make more questions in the next sessions.
Yeah, perfect.